Amory, can I just ask you, Chris Davis has asked me to ask you, what do you reckon about what's happened in Scotland with the Scottish Hamza Yusuf, or whatever his name is, Humza Yusuf, I think, bringing in what I see as blasphemy laws, basically, where you're not allowed to criticize, protect, religions. Don't think he had Presbyterianism in mind. Don't think it was Roman Catholicism. I think it was a different ideology. But what do you mean? That's Scotland basically introducing blasphemy laws. Do you think that's advancing Sharia? Well, what do you think about what's happened in Scotland? Could that happen in England?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, in many ways it has. The only thing the Scots have done is make it, taken away the protection for what you say in your own home, which is actually terrifying. That definitely sings of 1984 and spying on each other and reporting each other. And if you have a conversation around the dinner table and somebody takes exception to it, they can call the police. That genuinely, I mean, that is where we are. That is where we are. But aren't they sly, David? At the same time, they abolished the old blasphemy law, the one to protect Christianity. This is sly.
Yeah.
This is political game playing. This is what they do. We're abolishing blasphemy law. Look how progressive we are. Meanwhile, we're introducing a new law that says people can spitefully, maliciously accuse you of all sorts of hate. And hate, as we know, it's a human emotion. It cannot be controlled. And any government who tries to control our emotions is a totalitarian one. But that's what they're trying to do. And when you're accused of hate, you have no defense. So you can be accused maliciously by anyone who happens to not be white, for example, or anyone who happens to be a Muslim, or any trans person either, or anyone in the victim categories can accuse a person of hate, and that will stick. It will stick, and they have no defense. And the Scots have essentially put that into law.
Yeah, but
I mean, this is wokeism.
Yeah, it's wokeism on steroids, because it's controlling not just what you say, but even what you think. Even, Miriam, in the privacy of your own house, as Anne-Marie says, rightly so, if you're sitting around with a few friends and you're just chatting, if we're ever allowed to do that again, mind you, but if assuming we do, and we're sitting around chatting with friends, and you know what it's like, people say stuff, just, it's not that well thought through always, but if somebody, takes umbrage at that, and they report you to the police, and these laws are in place like we've chatted about in Scotland, you could be next. You could be heading down to the local courthouse, couldn't you? How do you feel about that?
It's quite scary. I mean, it sounds ridiculous and it's insane, but if you think about the actual notion of it, the knock-on effect of getting in trouble with the law, the effect that could have on your career, your family, your ability to earn money and provide for your family, things like that. It's actually quite terrifying, but it makes me quite angry when, you've got the police not responding to burglaries, not responding to, knife crime, the grooming gangs, all the cases of sort of child abuse that's going on. But if someone phones them up and says, oh, so-and-so said hurty words around the dinner table, and they'll be at your door.
That's right.
It's quite...
Hurty words and mean tweets seem to be what the British policing is focused on. But it is a fact, Anne-Marie, as you say, like what's been going on with the grooming gangs hasn't stopped. If you look at what's going on in London, I know we got last weekend. There was the whole thing about the lady, the murder of the 33-year-old woman by allegedly a serving officer in the place. But there's other stabbings happen in London all the time. I noticed. I've seen lots of stuff. The wanton violence, the gang violence, the tribal gangs of London. They haven't gone away either. It's just that they haven't made headlines. So. Do you not think that completely undermines the confidence in the rule of law?
I think what undermines it is the behaviour of the police and the political siding of the police.
Yeah.
You can't. How can you trust? We don't trust the police.
No.
I've never known public opinion of the police to be as low as it is now. And that is far more dangerous than people are giving credit to, if you like. People like it's unstable. I don't feel, if something happened to me, I don't feel that if I rang the police that everything would be followed up and you know, it would be efficiently investigated. I don't feel that at all. I don't feel that my political rights would be protected. I don't feel that my free speech, any of my democratic rights would be protected. And I don't think much would be done to anyone who harmed me, frankly. I really don't have that trust. And I'm not the only one. Their political posturing, their political siding has to stop. And that has to be by getting rid of the top. The top is saturated in left-wing politics. And the Tories don't know what to do about this. And this is why the Tories are so inept. They find themselves now with a public sector saturated in left-wing ideology.
And
they're not going to do anything about it. And they won't do anything about it because they don't want to risk a nasty headline by the left-wing press. So what they'll do is make speeches. I heard yourself and Miriam talking about this earlier. Speakers, that's what they are. That's all they do is make speeches. And then nothing changes. Because it's too much. I mean, I might sound like I'm being flippant, but I'm not. I'm actually quite serious. It's too much like hard work. To actually make the changes that need to be made will take guts and perseverance and work, hard work. It's so much easier to make a speech, to issue a press release, nothing that will upset the press, of course, and then go home. So much easier.
Yeah.